Hello, everyone. This is Michael Tabb. I am the course director for the courses of Character Creation and Development, as well as Writing for Film and Animation in the Creative Writing Master of Fine Arts program here at Full Sail University. Today's go-to training course, no students showed up, but I did want to go over the homework assignment posted for those of you who were unable to attend but wanted the information, can at least get a little verbal discussion on or a little verbal explanation on this week's homework. You are currently working on week three's assignment. For each class, it is obviously different. For character creation and development, in week three, you are using the exact wording described and filling in the blanks on your five major characters, which include the protagonist, the antagonist, the mentor, the ally/reflection character, as well as the love interest. The protagonist has two wordings, one for the inner journey and one for the outer. Then you have an antagonist's goal. You have a mentor whose mission it is to show the protagonist how to achieve their outer journey. You have a reflection/ally character whose job is to, when the cards are down, help them understand why it is important to continue on and reflect their journey and support them. And you may not use all these characters in your final script, but it's important to plot out what they would do so that you can make an informed decision as to whether you wish to use them or not in your script. The other is the love interest, and the love interest, being of crucial importance, is the character that supports and inspires the inner journey for the protagonist. And you list for all the supporting characters, the mentor, ally, and love interest, you are listing physical actions that they do, specifically, very specific physical actions that they do to make it clear to the protagonist what it is they're there to teach them or help them understand or help them accomplish. It is not a general thing like gives advice. That's a bunch of hot air. They have to actually do things. Let's remember we're writing for film and television, games, comic books, and these are all visual mediums. We're not talking to people, hearing voices inside their heads and stuff like that, like in a book or a novel or something like that. We are doing something very specific and writing a very specific type of entertainment. So we are focusing on what they are physically doing, because that's how we're going to absorb information in a film, because it's all about the image. Then you're also going to include your premise so that I can make sure that the inner journey of the protagonist relates and proves the inner journey proves the premise, and so that I make sure everything ties together. That's what you're doing this week. Remember to use the exact wording. Remember to be very specific with your examples. Can I use specific one more time? I think I just did. Specific, specific, specific. Jesus. For a writer, I surely am not using the broad width of my vocabulary as I need it. For the other class, we are looking at writing for film and animation, week three. All of you by Friday will conclude writing a short screenplay, which is a single story, not an episodic script. It is a single story with a beginning, a middle, and an end that is under 10 pages. That is a version of the story with the characters we've approved, with the premise I've given you feedback on, and everything else that is needed. It has to be in great format. Run Format Assistant. I repeat, run Format Assistant before you post it on Friday. Now, keep in mind, I understand this is a first draft, and I don't believe in grading the first draft of a script, but I do believe in getting some feedback on it. So your fellow students will give you feedback, and what I grade this week will be the feedback you give each other to see if you're getting the rules, if you're able to see when the rules are being broken. It's going to help you edit your script 10 times better if you start looking at other people's scripts and start identifying things in other people's scripts. It's very hard to sometimes see the forest through all the trees on your own material. But when you can look at a forest from a distance and look at somebody else's work, sometimes you can get in the practice of marking these things and figuring out how editing works. And then the next week, you can bring those editing lessons to your own work, and it'll be easier to do it because you've done it on someone else's work first. So I'm going to make sure you're catching all the mistakes you're supposed to catch. Remember that you have to give two halves to the feedback in order to get credit for your work. One is you're giving script notes, at least 3 notes per page, and the script you're giving feedback in must be complete. If somebody only turns in 2 pages of a script, that does not count as completed homework if you give 6 notes. You have to give notes on a completed 3-act script, and it's at least 3 notes per page in order to get a C. Then the second half is there are a list of italicized questions that I want you to answer about the script you just read, which is also in the homework folder. Answer all of those and put that in the back of the script so that all your notes are in one location inside the script, so that when you post it back up and give it to the person whose script it was, they can look at all the notes you gave them in the script notes function, which is explained in the instructions, as well as the italicized questions, which you can either put at the back of the script or at the end of the script notes function. Please remember to try to say something nice outside of those 3 notes, because we're all working very hard. We're all creatives. We all need a little nurturing and love. I know I'm tough because I have to be, and sometimes even I forget sometimes to say something nice, and I don't mean to do that, and you guys should be in the practice of making sure that you always say something nice. This industry is very much about relationships and friendships and camaraderie, and it's how you get ahead. There's a reason why they say it's not necessarily always what you know, but it's who you know that helps you find success in Hollywood. And that's certainly true. So make friends with your classmates, give them tough notes, because it is important. You're not going to help them. You're not helping anybody if you're not catching all their mistakes, because they're not going to make it if you don't. And then what good is that friend? The key is you help each other succeed, and you're good to each other, and you're honest with each other, and you're friends. And then don't be afraid to say something nice about the material. All right. That's about it for this week's statement. Since nobody showed up to ask any questions, I assume everything's going fabulously with both classes, and that everybody's getting all the knowledge they need, and it's perfectly clear and understood. If not, you all know that you can email me or call me on my cell phone. Those things are both in the very first class, the very first section of the beginning of the class, the welcome to the class assignment/lesson. At the very bottom is all my contact information and all that stuff. You can always feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions during business hours, which means between 10 and 5 on weekdays. Thank you so much. Good luck, great writing, and thank you for listening to this. It shows that you're dedicated to being the best you can be, and I appreciate that.